Calling all my golfers, tennis players, pickleballers, hockey players, anyone that uses rotational power, you're going to want to hear what Tom House has to say. Tom House is a sports physiologist, and he has done work with TPI, Titleist Performance Institute, one of the most highly regarded sports training institutes in the nation. And he has a theory called the big break theory. The big break theory is a theory that basically all of these sports physiologists kind of started doing this research. And what did they find? They noticed that there seems to be a strong correlation between the longest hitters in the world and the history of speed training in the opposite direction. Theory is that you only accelerate to the point of which your body knows you can safely decelerate. Therefore, the stronger and faster your decelerators are, the faster you can develop your accelerators. We talk about this principle a lot. Deceleration is starting to become a thing, and if you're a serious athlete at the high school level, you need to be focused on deceleration training. If you're an athlete at any level, you should be focused on deceleration. Well, what's deceleration? It's the ability to catch yourself, to know where you're at in time and space, catch yourself, and use the force of the absorption to explode. A lot of people train to explode, a lot of people don't train to decelerate. So what I'm going to show you here is the principle of the big break theory, training the opposite way. One thing that you can't do when you have a medicine ball in your hand is understand how much force you're creating. You have no clue. You can use other devices that are pneumatic meaning air pressure, and you can kind of have a certain poundage. But what the technology that we have is going to show us is exactly how much force I'm generating. And so what we can do with a lot of these athletes that need rotational power is see how much force you accelerate in the left and accelerate in the right. So let me show you a couple reps. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the proper way and kind of sequencing with the hip dissociation, letting the hips fire first versus letting the torso turn first, little hip action. I'm going to show you the difference in power between just using the upper body versus using your hips. And then I'm going to do it on the opposite side as well. We're going to see how well calibrated I am. So what I'm going to show you here is basically similar to what you would do in a gym called a medicine ball throw. But again, you don't have any data to really see how much your power is improving. What we're also going to train here is hip dissociation. You hear a lot of people talk about in golf, especially, you have to learn how to turn your hips before you turn your chest. I've always struggled with this, but I've been training here for a while. My golf swing speed has gone up by about 7 miles an hour. My ball speed has gone up about 15 miles an hour in the course of 6 months just by training on these devices. So a couple upper bodies here. Just turning that. Okay. I'm going to try to get my hips into it. So that's going to give us a good baseline of how much power I rotate when I use my upper body versus when I use my lower body. Now I'm going to show you the big break theory. What is the opposite side doing? And personally, potentially something for me to work on in my golf swing if I want to chase more speed, not that I need it, is to get these graphs that we'll show you in a little bit, try to get more power and distribute the power at the proper time. Because again, I'm working my decelerators. If you don't know what your decelerators are, that's going to be on the backside of your body. So when you go to a strength training program, say if you're a basketball player, hockey player, golfer, tennis player, pickleballer, if they're having you do a lot of chest, a lot of abs, a lot of quads, that person doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know jack about creating power. All of your power, and this is well documented, Tom House talks about this, is on your backside because these muscles are decelerators. Your chest isn't going to help you turn your hips better, right? What's going to help you turn your hips better? Your back, your butt, your hammies, and your calves. Those are where the speed lies, and that's how you get your speed better, your exit velocity better, your ball speed better, your swing speed faster in a rotational sport. So I'm going to show you my left side here. Again, just trying to do the upper body. Okay, now I'm going to get my hips into it. All right, we're gonna look over the graphs. I've got my right side, I've got my left side. We're gonna start with my left side, and we're gonna show you exactly kind of how much power we're generating, and that big break theory, can my left side generate as much as my right side? That's gonna be a big thing for efficiency as well, in terms of how efficient I am in the golf swing and my potential. Am I hitting my true potential or not? Okay, so I've got my trainer Ryan here. He's CSCS, who's gonna explain to us what these graphs mean.
So you guys can see here, we're starting with Caleb's left side. This is going to show us where Caleb's generating his power and how much power he's generating in his movement. So if you think about just doing a medicine ball, throwing it against the wall at a gym, that's great, but it's not going to give you real-time data of how much power you're actually creating.
So this is left side, just basically no hip rotation. You can see that I'm generating about 320 watts of power. Not very good, especially considering my right side is closer to 900.
So then as we go forward into when Caleb starts using his hips again, we can see how much more power Caleb's creating in each of these next reps, almost generating 900 watts of power here. And then finally in this last rep, generating about 1,000 watts of power in his final rep. What's really cool about these graphs, you can see where the power peaks out right here at the end. So this is like, if you think about a golf swing, this is right when he's going to make contact with the ball. So this is showing him that he's creating the most amount of power when the golf club contacts the golf ball.
Bombs, baby.
If we go back here, we can see he generates this power a little bit earlier. So he's going to be leaving something in the club as he makes contact with the ball there.
Let's see that right side.
We can go over to his right side here. And we can see the same thing here. He's generating the power right where we want it to be, right when the ball contact or ball striking is going to happen. And then we can see each rep exactly the same. And then that last rep there generating another 1,000 watts of power.
So if we're talking about the big break theory and we're saying, hey, you know, if the right side is as strong as the left side, basically see that my left side almost generates a little bit more power than my right side, which is a good problem to have according to the big break theory.
According to the big break theory, this is a good problem to have. It means that as Caleb's decelerating, it's going to help stabilize him so that he can generate more power through his swing.
And very balanced from right to left.
Yep.
So what do we see with a lot of different, you know, rotational athletes, right? Someone who's in high school that, you know, wants to get their exit velocity up in baseball, we see usually a pretty big difference between right to left.
Yeah, so we see a big difference from right to left, and we can also see that a lot of athletes don't use their hips properly and just try to throw everything. So like if you think about a quarterback throwing a football or like a baseball player throwing a baseball, they're trying to rip everything with their arm. They're using the whole upper body, and they're leaving a lot of power in their legs. Whereas if they started using their hips and creating that dissociation between their upper body and their lower body, then their hips would go first and their arm would just go through the movement, and it's like a whip. All the power is going to be right at the end, and it's have that snap, and then the ball is going to go a lot faster.
That's going to be good for reducing injuries. It's going to create more power. Your body's going to, you know, not have as much wear and tear. You're going to perform better than your peers.
Yep.
You're going to get a lot better looks as it pertains to playing college or the next level.
It's going to take a lot of stress out of your, like for a pitcher or a quarterback, and take a lot of pressure off your shoulder and elbow joint and put all that weight through your hips, and then help save your arm.
And for a golfer as well.
Yep, for a golfer as well. It's going to take, you're not going to be throwing your back out so much or throwing your shoulders out and trying to force everything. It's all the power is going to be pushed through the ground, through your hips, and then the upper body is just going to follow.